Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Backmarkers F1Show podcast. This episode 91, recapping and reacting to the 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix from beautiful Tuscany, Italy. Chris, Tyler, Shaker, bringing you this recap podcast. Just before we get into all the details, just some quick housekeeping notes. Just a reminder to everybody that we do have a website, TBMF1Show.com, where if we're not posting videos on YouTube, we're usually posting some sort of written content on there or across our social media channels, so be sure to follow us there as well. Our show and our podcast is still sponsored by thegpbox.com, so check out the links below in the description if you'd like some discount codes for on F1 memorabilia on their website, so that's courtesy of our friends at GP Box, and you'll also find a link below in the video for a donation page. If you feel like you like to support our channel and you like what we do, want to see the growth of the Backmarkers F1 Show channel, feel free to donate if you can. If you can't, it's not a problem. Our content will always be free, but a couple people have mentioned it to me as a suggestion to do, so I've done it. I will probably forget to mention it from now on and again, but anyways, it's there. If there's any like Lawrence Stroll type people out there who want to consortium their way into our channel and drop a couple 100,000,
we could be Racing Point Backmarkers F1 Show.
Yeah,
we're willing to take the sponsorship.
Yeah, we are.
How about Aston Martin?
That sounds
Backmarkers
great.
F1.
Yeah.
As long as we all get Aston Martins.
Works for me. DB11, please.
But like Chris said, if you can't, you don't. We're not expecting you to. But please do subscribe and make sure you like this video if you really liked it.
Yeah, at the very least. I have noticed actually
Subscribing
that,
is free. So
yeah,
that's okay.
subscribing is free, and also the notifications too. I know YouTube is doing a lot of things where like they turn off notifications and stuff, so just maybe check up on that if you're subscribed but you happen to not get our notifications. Okay, so that's all the housekeeping out of the way. Thanks for listening through that. All right, so let's get into this race. The 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix at Mugello. First time we've been to Mugello, and maybe we'll get into a little bit later as to whether Mugello circuit was a success or not, but I think that this race was probably really well characterized in the comments section. Somebody said that this was the most exciting, boringest race I've ever seen.
Yes.
You guys kind of feel that way too?
Yeah. I was just right before we went on, I'm like, oh, I definitely need to rewatch the highlights, and then I realized that nothing really happened except for that major crash and a couple of red flags. There was nothing, like no big overtakes or anything like that. There was a great Albon victory at the end, but
Yeah, I mean, I thought there were some decent overtakes around the outside of turn one. That was like seemed to be like the overtaking spot.
yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
I guess the one Albon on Ricardo was
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
that was a pretty good one. That was a pretty good one.
Didn't Vettel and Kimi had a nice little battle too, I think, around turn one.
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one on Albon that did on the outside was nice. Ricardo got a couple moves done there on Stroll and I believe Perez earlier.
Yeah.
In the same, I mean, that's really the only areas that we saw in overtaking was turn one. And that's sort of the nature of the Mugello circuit. It's what we sort of predicted when we were looking at this track. I can't honestly remember. Maybe you guys in the comments let us know, but I don't remember an overtake happening anywhere else.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, we did lose like 8 cars.
Other than the crashes,
so,
yeah.
So, I don't think there was any overtakes into sector 2 or 3 in the twisty bits, but so yeah, I think that you're right, Shaker, in terms of like, other than that really big incident, after all that calmed down, it was really business as usual up front.
Yeah, pretty much it. I'm trying like there was like some exciting moments for sure, but nothing that kept you at the edge of your seat. You know, like you were paying attention, like the George Russell getting top 10. That was something I was looking forward to. But like, if it happened, it happened. I mean, I even thought like the Alex Albon thing, wasn't as hyped up as compared to obviously Pierre Gasly getting was like first ever podium, and even Sainz getting his first ever podium back in Brazil. But because I guess it was more a sense of a relief for him than something that should have been a long time coming rather than anything. So yeah, I don't know.
I think we kind of thought it was going to be not the most exciting Grand Prix.
Yeah.
But the crashes really helped that.
Yeah.
And like as we mentioned, we don't want anyone to get hurt during these crashes. Like there were no like softy crashes other than side spinning. They, like all 3 of those wrecks, safety cars were really hard hits. I mean, I guess Gasly probably got the worst of it on the first one.
Yep.
I mean, he took a hard shunt. And then pretty much everyone that was involved on the pit straight accident had a hard shot. And Stroll, I mean, I haven't seen someone hit that hard. And well, who was the last one to hit that hard? I think back to Ericsson at Monza. You were mentioning before the podcast, Brendan Hartley.
Well, I was just thinking, like, when I saw the picture of Stroll's car, I'm like, I've never seen an F1 car beat up so badly.
Yeah.
But I remember Brendan Hartley's crash in Spain of 2018 when literally like half of the car just fell off when the crane picked it up.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody remembers that. I think it was at turn 9, the blind right-hander.
There's nothing brutal about the crash, but I think Alonso's from a few years back where his car literally flipped over.
True.
Australia.
Yeah. Like the car wasn't super damaged, but just the looking at the crash was you figured that was going to be the worst one.
Yeah.
Didn't Giovinazzi have a hard one last year in Belgium too, I thought?
Dude, Joe, I'd love if somebody out there, could you please tally up how much damage Giovinazzi's done to F1 cars? I'm sorry, I like Antonio. He's a really nice guy, talented driver, but if you think back to just Belgium, right? How much damage he did in that crash. And this one, obviously not his fault. But when you look at his career in crashes, before he even got into F1 when he was filling in free practices, man, that guy's wrecked some cars. So if you tallied it up, it's probably over like $10 million or something.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, if you're going to wreck something, you want to wreck it good.
Really? I'm not sure how that's how it works.
If I'm going to break something, I don't want to break the shit out of it. You guys saw my iPad.
Yeah, that's true.
Your iPad was a mess.
True. That looked like Giovinazzi's car. That's we can confirm.
But yeah, no, it wasn't like there are some storylines that were interesting to keep a part of, and having Bottas in front of for a little bit, and Hamilton chasing was nice to see. But I don't know. It was a solid Grand Prix. A lot of people think it was one of the craziest ones ever, and maybe for craziness or like weirdness, yeah. But excitement, I wouldn't put it up there for like it's the most exciting race. It was just like, what the hell is happening? Constantly, honestly. You're like, what the So we had before last week, the last red flag was what in 2016? Baku, 2017. Yep. And now we've had 3 in 2 races.
Yeah.
Like, wild.
That's crazy. 2 in 1 race.
Yeah, you're saying you've never seen a red flag live. Well, you've seen 3 of them.
I've seen 3 of them in a week.
Ask and you shall receive.
I had the race on PVR and I was watching it because it starts at 9 a.m. our time. And I woke up at like 9:30 because I always have PVR because I don't wake up exactly in time for the race. So I was watching the race about half an hour behind.
But it's also nice because like here we get commercials, so you can also skip through commercials. Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah.
But I ended up. I was like, my PVR was like the time slot was running out. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to speed through all this. So I sped through so I could get to the live, and it ended up being at the red flag, so I didn't miss anything. But I was like, oh man, this is a long. Usually the end like with 45 minutes to spare. Like this has been a long race.
Oh, it was a long race. I had to get to work, and I think I was like just made it because I was like, oh man, if I'm gonna have loads of time, I'm gonna have like an hour and a half.
It was like 2.5 hour race.
Oh yeah, it was a long one.
Yeah, well, because what I usually do is I do the same thing, but I sleep a little bit later. So whenever I wake up, I'll start with like the pre-race stuff and then get into the race. But for whatever reason, maybe this because it was Mugello, I watched the entire pre-race because I wanted to see Mick Schumacher's run as well.
Oh yeah.
Which we'll get to later. But yeah, I ended up watching the whole hour and a half, and I watched it through my internet television provider. I won't say more than that because I don't want to get them in trouble.
So, yeah.
But you guys, I think, know what I'm talking about. And I was watching it, and I watched the whole thing, hour and a half, no problems, no buffering, nothing. And then I get to load up the race stream on ESPN, which has 0 commercials.
Yeah.
Oh.
Crazy that TSN, you got to figure your shit out, man. Like for us here in Canada, you have no idea how frustrating it is to watch a race and be interrupted by commercials, and at the worst times usually.
Absolutely. I watch mine on Sky Sports. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Or that one too.
I do the same.
You have VPN?
I got something.
Yeah. It's like you guys know.
That's all you have to say.
Yeah. So it's like it took me an hour almost to find a link that worked. Finally found it, and then I was like the same way. Like I'm like, is there going to be enough to watch this whole thing? Like, so yeah, it was crazy. Like so many restarts, so many incidents and everything. Now I think we kind of covered lap 1 a little bit. That was kind of a melee going into turn 2 and 3.
Yeah, I don't if there's anyone at fault there. I mean, it's not Max's fault, but it didn't help that he was so bogged down from his engine troubles.
Yeah.
It really bottled things up in the midfield, and that Gasly got sandwiched, and it was just sort of a mess. No one's fault, racing incident.
Yeah.
I think it just ended up taking out with 3 cars. Then Sainz spun around. He barely touched Stroll and spun around. It looked like Vettel out there.
I think he took out 3 cars, but 2 actually were out.
We're out. Yeah. Yeah, Sainz was practicing the Ferrari and just spinning around with no contact.
Yeah. Well, like Shaker, you were saying earlier that, it's like you go from last week, Gasly P1 to DNF, Carlos Sainz P2 to DNF. So, that's the world of F1, folks. It's just how quickly it changes and everything.
And I like how Vettel tried to avoid Sainz 5 times. He was like, I don't know which way to go.
Yeah, and then Grosjean was pretty much spitting gravel all over the circuit after he kind of came through that. And Grosjean was having quite a bit of a meltdown in this race, which let's get to now, because the turn 1-2 incident at the beginning of the race, it's like it was really overlooked, which shows you how many incidents we had in this race.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but maybe actually, Shaker, the link that you just had earlier up, which showed all the cars up on the onboards. I think it was the one before that. Keep going. Yes, this one. So this is basically the onboards of all the drivers in the incident.
Is this crash 7 or a lap? This is the big crash?
So this is the safety car restart. Yeah, on lap 7. So this kind of, I guess pick your driver where you want to look.
Sainz.
Too much
Giovinazzi.
Latifi.
was.
Whoa!
Yeah,
someone almost hit there.
That's Latifi and Magnussen. So here we go. And melee time.
Oh my God, Giovinazzi.
It was scary. Okay, so we've seen the incident. Now let's just play some of the team radio, and then we're going to get into what we think or who we think was at fault in the incident, just because I wanted to play some of Latifi's, only because we're so used to hearing, French-speaking drivers or Italian-speaking drivers and their accents on the radio. So it's rare that we get like a Canadian or American accent. So Latifi's radio was just so funny because it just sounds so
such
Canadian.
a Canadian accent.
Yeah. This is playing hockey on the street with the boys.
What is the leaders doing? Accelerating, going. Okay. Are you
Oh my God.
I'm fine.
Fine.
I hear this kid in my gym class.
Man, there was 3 times.
Yeah.
I
saw that. Ready, come down. Car is safe. Safe. So
jumping out.
And jump out. Yes.
So that was, to the Canadian viewers out there, it's you'll kind of understand what we're talking about. Now, if you go to Romain Grosjean, I mean, Grosjean was having Vietnam flashbacks during this team radio, but it got pretty heated. Rightfully so, by the way.
The safety car is in this lap. It's currently just leaving turn.
Adjust your volume, folks.
That was fucking stupid from whoever was at the front. They want to kill us or what? Fucking hell.
Are you okay?
Yeah, man, but fucking hell. Whoever did that should be fucking banned. Fucking hell.
That's one of those. It's when you get the closed captioning at the bottom in Audible.
Confirm vibration on your side.
Pluton.
Yeah. Not audible.
Understood.
Also, obviously, a couple of cars passed me on that instances. But yeah, that's just normal from the situation.
I think that was about it, right?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Anyways, I mean, you guys heard a bit of that during the race, but it's always great to play the uncensored radio. It's just funny. So there's a couple more. We can put the link in the description if you want to check out Giovinazzi's radio, and I think Russell's in there as well. So
Sainz's radio is pretty good too.
Sainz. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
His engineer was probably the most kid. If you're okay, say something.
It's
and then we've kind of jumping all over the place here. But when Stroll crashed, his engineer was like, Lance, what happened, man? What the fuck did you do again?
What happened, Lance?
Okay,
I got a puncture.
Yeah.
But you know the best thing about that team radio with Nicholas Latifi is because you get to really see the two sides of Canada. You get the very Toronto accent, and then you get Lance Stroll, which is the very like the Montreal and Quebecois accent that you can hear sometimes.
I would argue that's the Silver Spoon accent. I can't really distinguish. He doesn't.
It's a mix of both, though. He
doesn't really have that much of a French. I don't know. He kind of speaks weird, but
I'm not sure how much French.
It's a mix of Montreal French and Europe, a European accent is what I hear.
Yeah,
I'll take your word for it.
I can see that.
I think you've been to Montreal more than I have, so take your word for it.
I'm going there tomorrow.
That's right. Tomorrow. Not happy about it, but
we'll get to that later. So in terms of the lap 7 incident, this I had to watch probably at least 8 or 9 times.
I still need to watch it more. It's all those. I didn't realize you had all those onboards. That's a really good one to watch.
Well,
because you can kind of pay attention to certain guys, and I mean Latifi almost ran to the back of Magnussen, and
yeah. Well, over here they showed Valtteri up front, the front more of the front of the pack. It was kind of interesting to see where what was happening here compared to.
Well, I wanted to see where it started in the midfield.
So Shaker, in the Google Docs, there's one that's a fan angle. Actually, somebody was on the top of the pit straights where you see the back of the grid. I think that was probably the best angle. It should be right under. Sorry, guys. Here, safety car restart crash from all angles. The second link, I think.
Link.
Should be that one. That one to me was probably the best angle. It's one that I looked over multiple times. Oh, it's not that one. Okay, sorry, it's the first one. Here's the thing too: is I don't think you can pinpoint it on one driver. Sorry, it's in the Google Docs.
No, you can't.
It's just sort of like a chain reaction type incident.
It's people trying to get a little bit of an extra edge, and you're not really paying. I think Kimi said it best, where he was like, "The people need to watch what's going on ahead." Or
yeah,
whatever.
absolutely. But I mean, he knows he's one of the most experienced. He is the most experienced driver out there. So
yeah,
obviously for him, he's done a million of these types of restarts, but it hasn't really happened that often. And we're gonna get to other races where this stuff like that doesn't happen. Okay, so here's the fan angle. So they're coming onto the pit straight here. You see Bottas weaving, and then here it happens.
Oh my God! So who's that? Okay,
who's that?
Go back. No, who's the first car? Who's the first car that hit there?
Giovinazzi came steaming into the back of.
So it's got to be Giovinazzi's fault.
Back it up.
Can you go back? Back it up.
It's whoever's ahead of Giovinazzi because he's the one.
No, because whoever's ahead of Giovinazzi is following properly.
No, you have to. So back it up a little bit more.
Back it up all the way.
Watch the gap that Russell creates here.
Oh, I see what you mean there.
But also pay attention because it's not just Russell. So I don't want to pinpoint it on Russell, but Russell left too big of a gap. This is my opinion.
This is Russell right here.
Yeah.
That's right. Russell left too much of a gap, and then that confused the other cars as well. But if you back it up farther, Ocon, and when we saw on the onboards as well, Ocon and Kvyat did a lot of accelerating stopping. And that's when Russell left his gap.
Yeah, I can see that big gap there, yeah.
So that might have been the trigger point to everybody else, and then it was just full throttle from there.
Yeah. Interesting. That's a really good angle.
Yeah, I don't know who posted that.
Whoever
anyway,
posted that, a legend.
Yeah, we'll put that in the links as well if you guys want to watch it. But you can just type it in the YouTube search bar.
Yeah,
you'll see the title of the video. So again, it's not necessarily like this is one driver's fault. It was a chain reaction of events that happened. But I mean, that's why there's a comment section, guys. So
that's true.
You'll have to let us know what you think. But for me, I think that Russell left too big of a gap. There was too much starting and stopping from the likes of Ocon and Kvyat, and then everybody behind George Russell just reacted to everybody else going, and then it was just disaster after that. Mm-hmm. So why this happened, to be honest with you, I'm not sure, because I immediately compared this to Baku in 2018. Now, you guys might have to just cast your memory back to that race, but it's similar strategy, right? Like the long Baku straight, Vettel, once he had, I think, 1 or 2 safety car restarts, he did the same strategy.
Yeah,
he pushed everybody all the way until the control line and then went just to minimize the effect of the slipstream. But we didn't have a crash like that happen then. Yeah. So is it inexperience? Is it's a new circuit? Or is it the fact that Bottas mentioned this after the race because everybody was shitting on him and he said, hey,
it's not his fault.
Don't blame me, right?
He's allowed to do...
He can do what he wants. He's a race leader.
He's a leader.
Exactly.
He sets the pace for everybody else, and they have to follow along.
Up until the start line, he can go, right? So like
That's right.
That's his right to do. So yeah, and I think Brundle was saying that he's like, it's not Bottas' fault.
And that was his argument too. And he said that he thinks the problem is that they recently changed the whole safety car, when the light turns off, and it happens later. Because remember in previous years, the safety car would turn off the lights, head into the pit lane earlier, and like let's say the leader could go before the last corner.
Right.
But now the safety car turned off the lights very late, and they want to do that to improve the show so that, they Constantina up a little bit more. So Valtteri was saying that maybe they need to look at that as a safety issue now.
No, that's fine.
So I don't think they're going to change it, but anyways, it's a bit weird because it doesn't happen often. We've had millions of these types of safety car restarts, and something like this hasn't happened. And other sports series as well. IndyCar does it a lot, GT cars as well, and there's not this type of issue. So anyways, like I said, that's our opinion. I think we broke that down pretty detailed and extensively. And
pretty wild.
Yeah.
It was a
crazy.
wild little wreck.
Yeah. I think that's a great video, though, with all the onboards that was put together there just to... you go through it maybe 10 times, pick one driver at each time, and just let us know in the comments, guys. We're interested to see what people have to say.
Yeah, I want to hear everyone's opinion on this because it was a major incident and it changed the dynamic of the race for sure.
But see, even when you we're looking, just back it up maybe just a little bit there, Shaker, if you don't mind. Pay attention to Latifi's onboard with the Canadian flag on the helmet. He almost hit Magnussen in the final corner. So... that's
like
the
everyone's
problem, too.
just braking, accelerating. Giovinazzi was crazy.
Oh, like you look, literally.
But you can see
right here. You see Esteban Ocon brake.
But you can see Russell's point of view. Like there is a big gap there. Yeah. And that's
Yeah. That's my new alarm clock at 9 a.m. That was fucking stupid. Yeah.
Crazy, very interesting.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. That's a lot of damage, though. That's
a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So
I felt the worst was Lance Stroll because he wasn't even part of that crash, but he also just got the only aero engine upgrade, and Perez was not allowed it.
Right.
And his car survived.
Yeah. That is true.
That sucks.
Well, they interviewed Altmaier what was his last?
Altmaier?
Altmaier. Just Altmaier.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. And he was saying that they're going to push to try and get 2 for next week, but they lost that part in the wreck.
Ooh.
So they're like, we were going to have one, like we're going to have both next week, but now there's only one at the shop, so now we have to try and build another one.
Right.
So they're going to try and do that for next race, but we might have, I don't know if they give it to Perez or if they just give it back to Stroll, but they said they lost that part in the wreck.
Well, I feel like that
sucks.
was promised to Perez. I feel like he should be able to keep it.
You'd think. But he's not on the team next year.
He's not on the team next year.
Yeah, and he's lower in the championship.
That's right.
Yep.
So,
but he gained 2 spots.
True.
And Stroll lost 2 spots.
Yeah, it sucks for Stroll, man. He was having a good race. Maybe would have had a shot at the podium or at least another 4th place. And I believe it was a tire failure. That was the last thing that they said. But it's definitely a scary incident at one of the highest speed parts of the track. But unfortunate there for Stroll. All right, so moving on, a couple more things left in this race that I just wanted to mention. We were talking about Valtteri Bottas at the beginning with the radios and everything. I just found it hilarious that he asked for a safety car, got the safety car, and then botched the restart again and got passed by Ricciardo. And then obviously the whole tire thing where it's like, I want opposite to Lewis. Well, we're just going to give Lewis the same anyway.
He had the race in his hand and just had an awful restart, Like
Twice,
yeah. When Lewis really bogged down that the start of the race.
Yeah.
It was interesting because, Verstappen, even with his low power, got to the side of Lewis.
Yeah, you're right.
And even Sainz almost had a shot. Was it Sainz that had a shot? Was he qualified P4?
That was Albon.
Was it Albon? I don't know. One of them had a shot.
Either that or Perez,
Hamilton
maybe
too. Yeah, something. Anyways, another car. One of the other cars.
An F1
vehicle. An F1 car.
Had a shot at Hamilton too, but just didn't work out that way. But it was nice for a little bit, and then Bottas screwed up his start. So I don't know if there's something with the clutch that the Mercedes is all screwed up or what.
I'm not sure. It's definitely screwed up at Red Bull. Their starts have been awful.
God, they've been awful. Albon Well, Max was half decent, but Albon's was
Yeah.
awful.
Like first phase of the start for Max was terrific, and then after that he just lost. I don't know, lost power or whatever the deal
they
was.
said a sensor issue.
Sensor issue. Oh,
I
Jesus.
think that's what they said. And
Turn them all off.
A little sensor screws up the whole thing. So
Yeah, crazy, right?
yeah.
I feel like you could just drive without it.
Well, you were watching the onboards. You could see like Verstappen was harvesting, going like still accelerating, going in turn 1, but he was harvesting.
Yeah.
So he didn't have nearly as much power. Like you shouldn't be harvesting at the start of the race going into turn 1. That's
Right,
just- no one
yeah.
does that. So you can tell something was wrong there.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It's the second. I mean, it pretty much effectively almost cancels them out of the championship. But yeah, unfortunate. I think that Max. It would have been interesting to see the Red Bulls try and take the fight to Mercedes if they would have stayed 3rd and 4th, and to see if maybe they can out-strategize them in the race. But didn't happen that way. But yeah, anyways, we got what we got. So Alex Albon gets his first career podium. We touched on a little bit about him earlier in the show. But yeah, I think you're right when his reaction was more relief than anything else. It was a long time coming when you really think about it. And I just found that it was ironic that he's sharing the podium with the guy that punted him out of the last 2
Yeah.
podium chances, right?
Oh, Hamilton sprayed him nice with champagne, so all's good.
All's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, they've mended their fences, but it's good for Albon, especially after Gasly winning last week, and like there's obviously rightfully so a lot of Gasly hype and whether he's going back to Red Bull or not, and to come out with the podium this race was probably the best thing that could have happened for him.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with some of his overtakes too. Like his starts weren't really that great, but he was pretty aggressive,
He was.
and he knows how to place his car really well to be able to like put his car in the right spot to make that overtake. And that was something I thought that was
You
on
would
show.
think so. But when he came against Lewis Hamilton, that did not happen twice.
Well, Lewis put his car in the right spot.
So what's that tone of voice?
Yeah.
It must have been some sort of
Must've been
magnet.
Something
Yeah.
else,
Who was someone was saying? I think it was it Lando or I think it was Lando on Sky Sports after being. They were talking like, oh, you're like your buddy Alex. He's like, oh, Alex, like, yeah, there was no one to punt him out of the podium. And so I was like, oh my god, great dig.
No censor.
I think it was Lando. I could be wrong.
Definitely Lando.
That's definitely something he would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I liked from Albon too is that he went on the outside again, and that's where
Yeah.
Hamilton hit him out in Austria. So I like the fact that he wasn't afraid to go back to that.
Yeah.
And he seems to like that outside move. So I think even Simon Rennie, his race engineer, said he's going to start calling him Mr. Outside. So
Mr. Outside, yeah. Hopefully doesn't mean Mr. Outside of Red Bull.
right, yeah. Hell, that's probably a Helmet Marco nickname.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny though. It's like it's a small world in F1. Like Simon Rennie used to be Daniel Ricciardo's race engineer. Now Albon's race engineer. Albon overtook Daniel Ricciardo, who again Ricciardo best overtaker.
And we have to mention no tattoo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Still
Too bad.
a chance.
And Christian Horner on the post-race show was giving it to him about being like, oh, we saved you from a tattoo. Basically being like,
Yeah.
we beat you. But like,
Right.
just hilarious.
Well, it's like if you're Renault, man, like this was the race. This
Yeah.
was the chance. And I don't know what happened after, Ricciardo, had the red flag not come out, probably would have finished on the podium, but he got a great start and then afterwards just kind of fell off completely toward the Red Bull
Yeah.
pace.
No, the Red Bulls really had Albon came out with a lot of pace. It
Yeah.
seemed like.
Yeah.
He was great on that soft tire. So, bittersweet because it was kind of like, all right, best case scenario here is like, I'm going to be happy with whoever gets the podium, whether it was Albon or Ricciardo or Stroll when he was still running there. But I did want it to be Ricciardo, admittedly so. But
I was pretty happy with either. If Ricardo got it, I was like, oh, good. Like that's gonna be fun. But if Albon got it, I was like, he deserved it. So
Yeah.
I was okay with both.
absolutely. Another driver that missed out on a great opportunity, George Russell and Williams.
Yeah, he did.
That really sucks.
I was really hoping to get his first point.
Absolutely. I mean, again, we know how difficult the pace of the Williams is, and when you got 8 cars that leave with DNF, and still,
The best shot you got.
I mean, other than like 2 more cars DNFing, that's the best chance you're
Yeah.
gonna have.
Well, I was like,
His other
Latifi.
chance would have been Germany, but he got kicked out of that one. So there's really nothing
True.
you can do there.
Yeah,
It was like Latifi in the first race of the year,
yeah, you're right.
right? Like everyone retired and he was 11th,
Yeah.
but he was last.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but same with Russell. He was in P9, right? Is he not?
Ahead of Vettel, and he
Yeah.
had really good pace.
Well, I think even Vettel said after the race that he felt bad for Russell because he was keeping up with the pace. He was doing really well, and then he just had him on the restart.
Yeah, a bad start.
Yeah,
right, is what
a
it
bad
was.
start.
Yeah.
What he was saying. Yeah.
He deserved. I think he was brilliant all weekend. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
how he kept his foot pinned in qualifying through the gravel
Man.
was phenomenal. I mean, like I said, we're big fans of Latifi, but George Russell has definitely been getting the best of Latifi this year and has really kind of shown the difference between the two drivers at the moment. But yeah, I just really hope Russell can get some luck in some of the races and bring it together. But I thought he had a really good weekend, regardless of the fact that he finished outside the points.
No, I thought he did as well. I mean, hopefully points coming soon for George. Where are we, Russia next?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Sochi.
Yeah, it won't be a good race.
Not my favorite track. I'm not
I
even
don't
gonna hide
like
it.
Yeah, I
We
don't like
already
it
know
either.
who's gonna win. So
Wasn't Bottas is good at Sochi?
yeah. I
Oh,
know.
so Lewis is gonna win.
Oh, yeah. Thought you were automatically saying Lewis. Like, I'm pretty sure Bottas is.
It's gonna be Mercedes 1-2.
Oh, for sure.
With Bottas getting number 1. I think he 2 years in a row.
You might be right. 2 years in a row.
You do know what's returning in Russia, though, right?
What?
Valtteri, it's James.
Oh,
Oh no!
That's the scene of the crime.
Oh no!
We'll see if he's even. We'll see. I don't know. Anyways, not my favorite track, but regardless, we shouldn't complain because we actually have races this year.
That's
but,
true.
I'll still complain anyway.
What are 2 more new tracks left? Portimao and Imola, or returning track, new and returning.
Well,
I guess
and
the
Nürburgring.
Oh yeah,
and
Nürburgring.
Istanbul.
I'm
So
Oh,
4.
And the Qatar Oval.
Qatar, Bahrain.
Oh, Bahrain. Qatar, Bahrain.
I think you're thinking World Cup.
I am thinking of the World Cup. Yeah,
still excited for that.
yeah, that'll be fun. Bahrain is what I meant. They have almost the same flag.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean it should be exciting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to those races.
Someone listening is
coming
like,
in the
Qatar?
winter.
They're going to Qatar? What? Bahrain.
Yeah, that should be a fun race, hopefully. But I'm looking forward to Portugal. Really, a lot of fans. We got some great traction on our Portugal Portimao circuit track guide. I think there's a lot of really loyal, dedicated Portuguese fans. So if you're watching from Portugal, welcome. Congratulations on having another F1 race. We're really happy for you guys. It's been a while since we're going back there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that a lot.
There's a lot of nice tracks out there. It's like, why are we going on some of these crap? There's some bad tracks on the calendar.
Yeah,
Except for Nürburgring, that should be good.
Yeah, that would be good. 25 races. Make it 25. You can add some of these ones here and there.
It'd be nice to have like a set 20, and then they decide to visit like
rotate?
5 like random ones every year.
That's not a bad idea.
that's a great idea.
Yeah, I like that.
I should organize that. We'll get 24 cars in there, 12
More than that.
teams.
More than that. 28.
Got to start off
30.
with 24.
Yeah,
I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, hey, what if to get more cars on the grid, they extended it to you're allowed 3 cars rather than 2? But then
some
I was
teams
like,
wouldn't be able to afford it.
that's exactly what I thought. I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way like Haas can put another car out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Like that's a
exactly.
lot of money. So I debunked my theory right then and there. I was like, that won't work.
Yeah.
That won't work.
I mean, like at Mercedes, do you really need another driver who's just going to pull over for Lewis?
Yeah.
That's true.
At that
yeah.
point, they just had Max Verstappen.
And do you want
they
just-
have the title? They have the title.
Yeah,
championship
they have
for
the
life.
title forever.
Do you want like just I noticed like was thinking too like a
Sad.
1, 2, 3. It's just all Mercedes like
Yeah.
drivers. I was like, I don't want that.
The
That's
year
boring.
is 2100. Mercedes have won their 84th championship in a row.
Have created carbon copies of Lewis Hamilton and Max. Still going strong.
Toto Wolff is still complaining. Lewis Hamilton is still running out of tires.
Yeah.
Now, just sticking on the track theme, what did you guys think of Mugello? Because personally, it's a crazy race, right, with all the circumstances that happened. So we weren't really able to see like 20 full cars run around the circuit for 59 laps, which might explain why we didn't have as much overtaking maybe in other areas of the circuit. But personally, I liked Mugello. I loved the entire weekend. I watched every session. I watched every minute of, except FP3. I usually never watch FP3 anyway. I just loved the track. Qualifying was
the
amazing. The G-forces, the levels were insane.
That's probably what I was going to say. I love how fast paced this circuit is.
was-
Like watching I think it was Lewis Hamilton's drive through and
Yeah.
was Russell's. Both looked intense throughout the entire
It
thing.
really shows off the aerodynamics of the car. I think
Yeah.
it's a beautiful racetrack. to see a car go around and really designed nice. So hopefully it can stay on the calendar. Danny Rick was asked in the Sky Sports post race how he liked it. He's like, yeah, we should be racing here again.
Yeah.
So he loved it.
Even after Norris crashed, he's like, you know what? That's how it should be. Like, you go wide, you hit the gravel, and you make a mistake, and that's it. Instead of like, Paul Ricard that has like
1,000 meters of
runoff in different colors and
Just
stuff.
parking lot.
Yeah, exactly. So I like it. I hope it returns to the calendar. It's an old school track, so it has a place on the calendar. It definitely could replace a lot of current track Sochi on the current calendar. So I hope that they're going to look at it and maybe slot it in somewhere for the future.
Oh, did I say Barcelona? Some people don't like that. But
Paul Ricard.
yeah,
I'm
not a big Paul Ricard fan either.
Yeah, we could probably go longer. All right, so I guess that was almost the end of all my race notes, but I did want to play some team radios because we had some golden team radios. And I'll tell you what, Kimi Raikkonen.
Great weekend for team radio.
Great weekend, but Kimi has been having quite a year. First of all, well done to him. His first points of the year. He's been driving really well in the last couple of races.
This is first points of the year?
Yeah. But
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
wild. Jeez,
That's
good for him.
crazy.
I hope I'm saying that, but yeah.
I feel like he's
think I'm
provided
correct.
us the most entertainment this
Yeah,
year.
no, he 100% has.
I mean, what else, right? But you guys all probably heard his for what radio comment, but
That's good. Troll Sports, yeah, nice. Well done.
Kimmy,
yeah,
man.
he was up. They just don't listen to him over there.
no, I mean, just tell him what the penalty's for.
Yeah.
Jeez.
For what? He was good all weekend. Last weekend we had the blankets, yelling at them for the blankets, and
Yeah,
now he's
man.
making his own pit calls. He's like, I'm already in the pits.
And this next,
I think it just comes down that he doesn't need anybody on his
we-
team radio.
no,
He can run the team himself. If he could change the tires himself, he would.
yeah, oh for sure. Well, I mean,
It'd be better than him being jacked up in the air for 10 seconds.
I mean, he had to wait for a committee meeting. They're like, should we put this car down or
yeah,
not?
like, what
Like,
was happening there?
so that was another team radio.
You can see this. The tires are spinning. He's like trying to accelerate, and he's like,
Yeah.
"You're like, boys, let me down."
Yeah, he was asking his race engineer Charles Leclerc, like, "What's going on here? Like, what are we doing?"
Charles, help me out.
Okay, Kimi. And
Trying
then,
to race.
and then this next team radio, this was just Sebastian Vettel. It's actually a very positive team radio. It's nice to see Seb's humor come back a little bit on the Ferrari radio channel post race.
Is there another restart or that's it?
And this was already when he was parked in Parc Ferme after the race. So I'm surprised his engineer wasn't like, "Copy, we are checking."
We don't know yet. We'll get back to you.
Understood. Looking plan C. Another tough weekend. And you know what's funny? We didn't really talk that much about Ferrari 1,000 races.
That's true. That's. I mean, it sucks because like I wish they were in in the winning form because
Yeah.
that's where you want to see
I didn't
Ferrari.
want to bring it up because we had 4 Ferraris in the last 4 positions of this race.
We did.
Probably like 30 laps.
That's true. But yeah, yeah, it sounds bad. The paint scheme was fantastic. I touched on this last podcast.
beautiful.
It did look good. See, I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I knew I saw
I
it
wanted
in
to text
person,
you like, you're
I was
right.
like, yeah, it does look good.
Told
But
you.
I definitely looked like a toy car in the actual pictures. In person, looked a lot better.
Yeah, no,
Somebody was like, "I love the McDonald's yellow on the 1,000." like it does
yeah,
look like
it kind
it.
of does look like that. But yeah, no, the car looked great. Too bad it wasn't fast enough. But I mean, 1,000 races. They're doing. I watched the kind of pre-race. I'm sure you saw it too. The whole
Yep.
Ferrari thing. It was
Yeah,
really well
I
done.
watched a little bit of that as well.
Formula One did 1-2 on their YouTube, I think, which is really well done there, and kind of showcasing all the history of Ferrari and
Yeah.
Schumacher, and it was a pretty cool moment. I guess we can go to that now. A pretty cool moment seeing Mick Schumacher drive his dad's F2004 around the track, and I watched the full 2-minute clip of like just him going out there. Man, it sounded so good.
Yeah, let's play some of it. I love that Vettel was watching. I mean,
Yeah.
isn't he just amazing?
He's like, I want to go in that.
yeah.
He's like, "Can I drive?"
Listen to this. It's that
How do you
scream.
not want that back?
It's that scream.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, he was pushing.
Yeah, he was. He was fast around it.
Oh,
Like going around that S is beautiful at Mugello.
fucking hell.
You know, this was always a dream for me to drive this car. I have driven it in Hockenheim last year.
Mark Webber.
Over here in Mugello with proper conditions, no rainy conditions or whatever. It's been an absolute...
Poor guy had to do that and go into an F2 car. But
Man.
he's probably going to be driving an F1 car next year, I think.
That's the rumor. If he finishes in the top 3, he will have an F1 seat, apparently.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
And right now,
Most
he
likely.
is leading the championship.
Yeah, good for him.
Because he was the only one of the top 3 contenders to score points. Guan Yu Zhu retired, and so did who else is fighting? There's a Cameron Isla.
Schwartzman, I think, too, had
Schwartzman
issues.
had an issue. That's who it was. But yeah, so Schumacher finished 4th, I think. He was the only one to pick up points and now has like a 7-point lead or whatever in the championship. So good for him. I still think one more year would have been good in F2 for him, but if he wins
Me
the
too.
championship, you don't really have a choice. Yeah, you kind of have to promote the guy. So
Yeah, well, especially, right? And like with the marketing value
Yeah.
that he brings as well. Just watching that, man, it's like so much nostalgia comes back because he was wearing his dad's tribute helmet as well.
yeah, sweet
And-
helmet.
Oh my god, it's amazing. And again, like he wasn't just taking the car around, like he was
He
pushing.
was pushing.
Yeah.
It sounded great. The car was flying around.
Slick tires
Oh,
too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, come on. like,
Pirellis.
could you not just take all the cars, all the V10s that are sitting maybe in a warehouse somewhere, put them on track and just race them?
That'd be fun. They can do that on F1 2020.
Yeah. like if I was a billionaire.
Video game, you can do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if I was a billionaire, I had like $1 trillion. Like I wouldn't waste my time on yachts and all this, bullshit kind of stuff. I'd just buy like old V10 cars and have like a Legend series.
That'd be sweet. Might be onto something. There's a lot of legend. I
I
mean,
don't think...
Donate down below.
Like, aren't those, like, engines technically become, like, a legendary icon? Wouldn't they try to, like, preserve those engines as
don't know.
automakers?
Like, what do you mean in terms of like not trying to use them too much?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they definitely do.
they only bring them out during certain
That's what
times.
I figured it'd be like a preservation thing, like this engine won them, this certain amount of championships. They would try to
Just bring back the V10s.
bring back
very
the
simple.
fucking
that is the
V10s.
solution, yes.
No, I'm saying, though, if I had like $1 billion, I'd just build a couple of new V10
Yeah,
engines and then
yeah, for sure.
we'll
Oh,
just
yeah.
go racing. So yeah, I love that, man. That was brilliant. And again, it's like it was a happy moment. It was also sad at the same time because the most important member of Ferrari's 1,000 races was unable to be at the track.
Yeah.
Obviously, Michael Schumacher for obvious reasons. So I don't know. I'm hoping that he'll be able to celebrate one day with the team. Maybe at the 1500th race celebration or whatever it is. But more importantly, if his son does get into F1, it'd be really great to see him at a track, watching his son do the same thing.
Yeah,
So,
it would be pretty cool. I mean, that's a moment I think anyone would want to see. So keep
Yeah.
fighting, Michael.
yeah, absolutely. And we just love those old V10 cars, the F2004, one of the greatest cars of all time, that's
Yeah.
for sure. And just my quick final thoughts on Mick. I agree with you. I kind of hope or wish that maybe he would have another season in F2 just to develop a little bit more.
I honestly don't see any driver ready for the jump yet in F2. And
Yeah.
I've been watching every race, and I've watched F2 the last 3 seasons. And you could tell, like Nick DeVries should have been in an F1 car this year, racing
Yeah.
right now. He was ready, but I don't know. I just don't see anyone completely ready yet. But it is a young crop in F2 this year. A lot of
Absolutely.
people came up from F3. So you're gonna see in two years, you're gonna see a big influx of guys ready. F2 is gonna be great racing for the next 2-3 years because there's a lot of talent down there.
The Mugello races were fantastic.
Yeah, they were.
Excuse me. So I just for selfish reasons, a Kimi Raikkonen Mick Schumacher partnership. How amazing would that be?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously great background. The fact that Kimi raced his dad shows how old Raikkonen is, but he could kind of play that same sort of mentor role.
Has he re-signed for next year?
No,
He's not sure yet, but
Right. I was. That's what.
is
it was.
Giovinazzi signed?
No, but Kimi, I think, is leaning towards staying because he says that he's still motivated, he's still enjoying himself, still wants to race and achieve things.
No,
So
yeah,
Still
I'm
yelling
fine
at
with
his
it.
engineers. So
Yeah.
obviously he's still motivated.
Gives us lots of entertainment.
oh, I hope he stays in
Yeah,
until he's
he's-
50 years old.
I
but-
want Kimi and Alonso back together, and keep Grosjean too.
Yeah, what a great grid! That next year's grid is going to be absolutely
It's gonna be
bonkers.
hilarious.
Yeah, gonna love it. All right, did you guys have anything else from the Tuscan Grand Prix?
No, just did we say yay or nay? Or we want this back next year?
I say yay.
I say yay.
Yeah.
That's 3 yeses. They're on to Vegas.
It's confirmed.
Yeah.
It should.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below if you liked Mugello and if you want to see it back on the calendar for next season.
I was gonna say I'd take it over Monza, but Monza's
No.
provided us last 2 years have been fantastic for
Yeah.
racing. So
Brilliant.
I love Monza.
yeah, so I can't even say I want it over Monza, but yeah, I would absolutely keep it around.
I love Italy, so
Yeah.
I'd want to live in Tuscany first of all, but
Fair.
it's
Fantastic.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
I
you were
didn't-
there last year. Right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was great.
I didn't know it was that close to Florence.
Yeah, it was. I didn't realize so. I realized either until I looked at them. I'm like, oh man, that was like an hour drive from where I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I drove like right by it, like probably like 30 minutes, like close to it. But yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
All of Tuscany is beautiful. I mean, all of Italy is beautiful.
absolutely. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you think and what you thought about the rest of the race as well. And safety car incidents. Well, what do you think about Mick Schumacher possibly getting a seat next year in Formula One? And any other comments or thoughts that you have, just drop it down in the comments below. We're going to try and respond to as many people as we can, but can't get to everybody, but we'll try. All right, so next week we got a week off until I think the next race is on September 27th.
Yeah, Russia, and then do you have a schedule? Can you pull the schedule up, Shaker?
Yeah.
Since you're
The
on
triple
there?
headers, I believe, are over.
I think so. That's what I was about
Which
to
is
check.
good.
I wasn't sure if there was one more or if there wasn't.
Yeah.
But I forget now. See, now I'm lost. I don't know what's happening after Russia because it's all the kind of like newer things, and I don't know what the schedule is.
I think it goes Russia, Nürburgring, Imola after that.
Oh, Imola, I can't wait.
So here we are, round 9. So round 10, Russia. Yeah, so going to Germany after that.
There is a triple.
No, it's the Pro Series. I don't know
Oh.
the esports.
That's esports, yeah.
Whatever.
Oh,
I don't know why
Portugal.
that's on the calendar.
I don't know.
why is
Okay, so sorry, scroll back up. Okay, so 25th,
Russia.
27th, and then another week off, right?
yeah?
And then, okay, so wow, we're gonna be another week off, okay, and then another week off, and then a back-to-back in
Yep.
Portugal and Italy. That's gonna be great.
That's a great back-to-back.
That's a great back-to-back. Wow. Okay, and then
go to
some time
Turkey.
off. We got 2 weeks off.
Yeah, 2 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
We go to
Wow,
Turkey.
2 weeks off. What are we gonna do? It's like it's a normal year.
Shit, we had 3 months off.
And then
Another week off.
week off, and then
Turkey.
oh, okay, and then we're ending in Abu Dhabi. That's it. That's the season. There are no more new tracks.
No, there's this one
After
here.
Turkey.
Like that. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess the Bahrain outer
Bahrain
circuit, though.
But that's it. That's gonna be it
That's
for
right.
races.
Yep.
17 total.
Finishing on December 13th.
Okay. All right.
That's
Not
pretty
bad.
late.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty late.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, last year I think it finished around December 3rd or 4th. So, I mean, what, a week later? So, not too bad. I mean, still condensed a lot of races into it, but
They did a really good job of getting those races in.
yeah, it'll be good that we have a little bit of gap in between races.
No, I want the triple
I
A.
forgot that we were going back to Italy.
NASCAR does like 20 weeks in a row. They can so they can have fun.
It's a little bit easier for the content
Yeah.
creators, I think. You just got a little more time to kind of
Oh, it will be
refine
easier.
stuff and things. So, yeah, but for next week, we'll put out a preview for the Russian Grand Prix. And we'll see with our schedules, if we have time, we might just get together for just kind of a general talking podcast about the
Yeah.
upcoming races and anything else that's going on in the F1 world.
If we get some driver changes or something, you know.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen in terms of breaking news or anything like that. Or maybe we'll take a look at the driver market.
Yeah, I guess that should be coming up within the next like month or two, right?
Yeah, it
kinda
would
did
be.
Figure it
Should
out
be.
within, October.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But until then, yeah, stay up to date on our YouTube channel. Again, visit our website, tbmf1show.com. You can have some blog articles that are there. You can subscribe to us through on that website as well, and you'll just get some email notifications and some perks to being a member on our website. Our podcast can also be found, the audio version on Spotify, iTunes, any other podcast platforms that you guys use can find it there. And again, check all the links down below in the description of this video for everything that we talked about today. And I think that will about do it for episode 91.
I think so.
Good?
Pretty good.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Have a good week, and we'll see you for the Russian Grand Prix.
See ya.
Bye.